8 days and counting. Time is running out, quite literally. Lawmakers in Washington are searching for a compromise on how to raise the debt ceiling. Will this stalemate end in time? Let's get some insight now from our Washington executive editor, Al Hunt. Al, we hear 2 o'clock is when Boehner unveils his plan to his caucus. 6 p.m. The Democrats are going to chew it over. What can we expect? Any progress?
We can expect he'll recycle some of his old plans. Clearly, what John Boehner wants to do is please his caucus. He doesn't want to have any taxes on the table, which means if you don't put taxes and entitlements on the table, this is a broken record, I know, Margaret. You know, it's not really a serious plan. It's an effort to try to politically get through it. He and the Democrats are both playing politics now. And the danger is that in playing politics, they may play their hand a little bit too hard and get up to August 2 and not have anything. I think that's unlikely. I think we're more likely to have some kind of a deal, but I think it's highly unlikely we'll deal with a long-term problem.
So, but you have dueling plans at least. I mean, can we call that some forward movement, that you have people actually proposing things? Does anyone have the upper hand?
Well, but you've had that for a while. You had the McConnell-Reed plan, and you had other earlier plans, and you had big plans that had been on the table for a long time, going back to Simpson Bowles, Domenici-Rivlin, the Gang of Six, Boehner, Obama. They have decided they didn't have the guts to do those big plans, so now they're looking for some face-saving way to get through. I think they will get through. In the sense they'll increase the debt ceiling. Margaret, the debt ceiling is not, that's not to pay for what we're going to spend in October, December. Right. That's to pay Social Security recipients, to pay bondholders, to pay for debts that we have incurred over the last many, many years.
Right, make good on commitments already made. Al, in your column over the weekend, you addressed something that constantly comes up when people talk about the debate we're having right now. And there's this criticism that President Obama wasn't leading the way on the conversation about how to deal with debt and deficits. You say a lot of his approach here has been strategic. Can you explain that?
Well, there was a huge fight over whether he should endorse Bowles-Simpson. When it was his commission, they came out with a real plan. The White House view was, hey, Paul Ryan and House Republicans ran away from it. Paul Ryan gets credit for all this courage. He ran away from the Bowles-Simpson plan, unlike Senator Crapo and Senator Coburn and some others. The White House calculation was, if we endorse it, what the Republicans are going to come back and say is exactly what they're doing now. Great, let's agree on the spending cuts, the entitlement cuts, and take taxes off the table because we can agree on 2/3. It would have been a trap. If both Paul Ryan and Barack Obama had endorsed Bowles-Simpson, which is what they should have done, the outcome might have been quite different.
Al, also in your column over the weekend, you talk about, this entire conversation is going to frame 2012, but the real issue is jobs. Now, Speaker Boehner's out there today tweeting, saying, dealing with the deficit is also a jobs issue because you're preventing more job losses by preventing us from defaulting. Is that linkage going to be made more and more clear in the next few days?
Well, if we had a $1.5 trillion deficit and we had 5% unemployment, people wouldn't care that much. And if we had very little deficit and 9% unemployment, they care a lot. Jobs is a motivating issue, and they can debate all they want about how this affects jobs, and over the long run, certainly it does. You can argue, indeed, that if you cut too much or you increase taxes too much, that it would hurt jobs in the short term. This debate is really setting the predicate, however, for next year, which will be joined on how people feel about their own security, their own job situation, their own economic situation, much more than whether people think we have a $1.1 or a $1.3 trillion deficit next year.
Andy LaPerriere of ISI was on this show just a little bit ago, and he was talking about the Gang of Six plan, indeed complicating these last-minute negotiations, and he was quite surprised to see the revenue target upped from $800 billion to $1 trillion. Do you think that's a fair assessment to say that the Gang of Six made this negotiation even tougher?
Well, I think they probably did make it tougher, but all they did was that's the revenue and Simpson-Bowles. I mean, that's really what everyone's talking about. It's still about $3 of spending cuts for every dollar of revenue increases. It's not some kind of huge revenue increase. It's not any more than Ronald Reagan increased taxes in 1982. And I think they did complicate matters, but they complicated matters because there really wasn't the fundamental will to get a deal done.
Al, as you said, we sound like broken records here, but hopefully we'll start gaining some traction soon. Thank you.